Would you like to effortlessly and seamlessly manage the money inside of your business so that you know that you're on track and you're able to generate that money and time freedom that you desire, where you're able to not only afford but also have the time to indulge in those hobbies that you've wanted to do for ages, like maybe it's art classes or yoga or going on a wonderful retreat with your girlfriends. Maybe you want to be able to retire your husband but not take a cut in how much money comes into the household. Maybe you just simply want to be able to pick your kids up more days of the week from school. Well, one of the biggest challenges that I hear from so many female entrepreneurs is that they deeply want to understand how the money is flowing through their business. They want to be able to trust in what is going on and understand what they should be tracking, what processes should be set up, and how it all operates inside their business. And they want to be able to do that before they're able to delegate it out to somebody else in their team. But they really don't know where to start, what to track, and how often to check in. So if that is you, then listen up, because today I am sharing with you the one practice that I have put inside my business and also inside of my relationship that ensures that I stay on top of all of my money, both now and for the future. And that it's a way that I'm able to each and every day and each and every week, month and year stay on track with what my personal priorities are, and also how that then links to my business and how my business can help me make that happen. So that is what we're going to dive into today on today's episode of Money Doesn't Have to Be Stressful. And I am your host, Laura Cook. And today we are really talking about the practice that I call the weekly money date. So what is the weekly money date? Well, it's simply a meeting that I have with myself, the CFO, Chief Financial Officer inside of my business, where I take the time to make sure I understand how the money is flowing into and out of my business, what I need to tweak, where the money is coming from, how on track I am. And that allows me to have a lot of confidence, a lot of certainty, and a lot of trust in what is going on. And it's all about staying on top of the numbers, because when we stay on top of the numbers, when we stay on top of our money and our finances, then we're able to learn a lot of valuable information and insights. And it's also a way that I'm able to keep myself accountable and moving towards my personal priorities, which are ultimately going to be created as a result of my business. So the money practice, this money date that I have with myself on a weekly basis has become such an important part of my business and my business practices. And really, your weekly money date should be quite quick and quite simple, about an hour in length. And it's a place and a time for you to be able to ensure that your business is on track, and it allows you to prevent any money inadvertently leaking out of your business and getting missed. So on a typical week, there are 4 parts to the money date. And the very first thing I do on my weekly money date, which I typically have on a Friday, is that I start doing something really quite simple and quite practical, and that is to track some of my metrics. So tracking your numbers or your metrics, whatever word you use to describe these, is really an important part. And I'm sure you've heard various recommendations of what you should track in the past. So this is not something that's new to you, but by monitoring your metrics and your cash flow, it really does help you to keep an eye on whether you're on track with your personal priorities. Now, when it comes to metrics and tracking, it's so easy to fall down a rabbit hole and want to track like everything and all the information, and there's so many things you could track. But we can end up getting so overwhelmed by that and having just too much information that we can't glean any insights from it, and it's really unhelpful, and we end up just paralyzed in a state of paralysis by analysis. So here I want to share with you the top metrics that I track, the absolute basic ones that I think everybody should track, that is most useful for you, the way you're going to get the most insight from them and be able to use them to inform your strategies and your plans and how you choose to spend money, and to make sure you're getting enough money coming into your business. So there are have two types of metrics, two types of information that we want to track. And the first one are your kind of inputs, things you're doing. They're called your leading metrics. And then it's the outputs, so the things that happen as a result of the actions that you've taken, and they're your lagging metrics. So basically what we want to do is we want to find out what actions, what things are you doing, what things are your team doing that ultimately influence the amount of money that comes into your business. So how many leads are you attracting that ultimately leads to you getting paid by a client? So we want to make that connection from the actions you do to the money that you actually receive in at the end. So I've got two sets of metrics that I would recommend. So input metrics. So I would recommend for inputs, we look at what things have you promoted this week? Has there been a particular offer you've had on? How did people respond to that? How many emails or social media posts or Instagram stories, however you're marketing, how many of those things did you do, and did anything get a particularly overwhelming reaction? What are the number of followers you have? And the fourth one is how much time have you worked that week? So they are the four biggest input metrics that I would track. So they're the actions you're taking, and we want to see how that influences these next metrics. And again, I've got five output metrics that I would recommend we look at. So high level, what sales have you made that week? What has the profit been that week, or the profit on a particular service that week? How much have you paid yourself? Now, you might not pay yourself every week, but if you have, keep track of how much it was that you paid yourself to make sure that it aligns with feeding into your lifestyle priorities. We want to look at how much money do customers owe you? Now, this is a big one that often gets missed. We want to make sure that we keep this as low as possible, and we're always following up on this. This is an easy way for money to slip out of your business. And the fifth one is customer feedback. So how are customers responding to you? Have you got anything positive that's coming back? Any positive testimonies? Have you had any refund requests or anything like that? So we want to keep a track of those as well. Now, I just track these on a weekly basis, but at the end of every month, what I'll do is I will look at the trends over that month and over the couple of months previous to that, and start to glean some insights as to what's happening, what's working. And that will help then inform some of the strategies that I then take forward and pursue. And it really helps over time to start to see the connection between when did I get this lead and when did somebody actually sign up and work with me, and then when did I actually get paid? So how long is that kind of cycle? And what did you promote, and did that have an influence on how many followers you gained or how much money you made? So that's the first part of my money day. My first part of my money day is to really look at the metrics. The next thing I would do is to really focus on looking at the clients that I've been working with, and I would look at how much money they owe me as well. And I typically use my accounting system for this, and I'm using Xero, but you could very much just as easily use Excel to track this. So what you want to do is you want to review where you are with each of your clients. Are you ready to invoice them? And if so, then prepare the invoice, get the invoice sent straight away. And also, have any of your clients still got any outstanding money that they owe you? And again, if that is the situation, then I would follow up with them, contact them initially by email is typically what I do. After 2 or 3 emails, I will then pick up the phone and be speaking to them and following up and validating when that money is going to get paid. Now, the main reason most people don't pay on time is that they're frankly quite disorganized in their paperwork and in their finances. It's very rarely that they don't want to pay you or that it's anything personal. The main reason that somebody might be late paying you is, especially if you have like automated like payments coming in, is that their credit card or their debit card could have expired, and that happens quite frequently. So you just need to chase up with them and ask them to renew their credit card details. So like I say, it's really very, very rarely personal, very rare that they don't actually want to pay. It's very, very likely that they're just a bit disorganized. And so as soon as you step up with a consistent and repetitive process, you're very quickly going to get paid, and it's going to happen a lot sooner than if you waited for them to take the initiative. Now, having taken so much time and energy to win your clients, to attract them, to get them interested, to be able to service them and help support them, to implement the strategies and the tools and the tactics that you have to be able to solve their problems, the last thing we want to do is to miss out on the money that we're then owed from these people, because we don't have a good cash collection process inside of our business. So this is a really, really big one. It's a really easy win for us to bring cash into our business if this process isn't slick and up and running already. So I would highly recommend reviewing how you bring the money into your business. How effective is that? Next, after I've looked at that, is I would move on to my paperwork. Now, I absolutely hate paperwork. I hate piles of paper. I hate my desk being full of receipts and things just kind of lying around. So it's the one process I am pretty diligent with. And so once a week, I spend a little bit of time pulling all the receipts out of my purse. I collect any bank statements, credit card statements that I've received during the week. I take them all out. I'll scan anything I need to scan to make an electronic copy. I have an email folder where I archive any email online receipts that I get for any online purchases that I have, where I siphon those off every day whenever I receive them. And so I'll also check through that online folder. And what I'll do is I'll collate all of that information, save it up into the cloud, into my accounting system, and then it's all there ready for my bookkeeper to be able to process those receipts, those bank transactions, and then she has all the information she needs to be able to do that work on a monthly basis. And I know that I'm fully up to date. I don't have to worry about it. Nothing's going to get lost, and it's all super organized and just there. So that's kind of a nice, it just clears the desk, declutters, and it means that on a monthly basis, my accounts are going to be up to date. And so the next thing I then look at is my time. Now, I want to be sure that I'm spending my time wisely on the things that are most important based on my priorities, but also that are profit generating tasks. I really don't want to be wasting too much time and getting really bogged down in really day-to-day £10 an hour administrative tasks or getting sucked into social media. So I tend to track my time into a couple of main categories, and I add up how many hours I've spent doing marketing, how many hours have I spent working with clients, how many hours have I spent on business development work, how many hours have I spent doing admin sort of operational tasks inside my business. And again, I use this information on a monthly basis really to decide if I'm spending my time in the best places. Is it most worthwhile? Are there any things that I'm repeating and that I could outsource, and it'd be better for somebody else to do it instead of for me? And have I become the bottleneck inside my business? Am I slowing the business down because I'm at capacity? So they are the 4 key things I focus on. So inside this checklist, I've also included for you my yearly money day review, what I would do on a quarterly basis, and what I would also do on a monthly basis. So it's really going from big picture, longer term, annual planning of your finances and linking both your business finances to your personal ambitions for the year, right down to what you need to do and think about each and every week. Now, this practice has been hugely beneficial for me inside my business, and also for my husband and I in our personal life. Both of us are entrepreneurs. Both of us have don't have a salary, so we have this level of inconsistency in our income, the level of unpredictability that we all face when we become entrepreneurs. But this has enabled us to feel like our finances are a lot more steady, a lot more consistent. And whilst we may not be able to avoid some of the highs and lows that come, we're certainly a lot more prepared and anticipating any huge swings and dips with our money and our cash flow. Now, I tell you, that brings a huge amount of peace of mind to both of us. And that is hugely beneficial to us in our businesses, and also it strengthens our relationship. So if you have loved today's conversation, then I'm sure that you will also love my upcoming 5-day challenge, which is a Master Your Money and Mindset challenge, where I will walk you through a process, giving you the tools, the strategies and techniques to really be able to boost your confidence and your cash flow inside of your business, to make sure that you really get the ROI on your time and your money and your energy investment. So I hope to see you there. The link I will post in the comments below.